So in this video, I want to talk about some of the fastest ways to go add clients into your business. So if you're selling a service, if you're a creative agency owner, creative videographer, designer, you sell a service, then you are in the business of selling to people or selling to businesses. And one of the easiest ways to get clear on what you need to do to go get clients, in my opinion, is to get clear on, well, what problem do you actually solve, right? Who do you solve that problem for, and what problem do you solve? And this is when most people get stuck because they solve lots of different problems for lots of different people, or they don't quite know what problem they solve and they just know what they do. So we'll talk through a scenario of if you're a videographer, right, and you create content. Now, people will pay in proportion to the size of the problem that you are fixing for them, right? Or thought of another way, if you're a business owner and someone comes to you that can grow your business and add another 100K, 500K, you know, how much are you going to pay that person? If they could add half a mil, quarter of a mil to your business over the next year, what's that worth to you? Is it worth 25K? Is it worth 50K? Is it worth 100K? All of those things are possible, right? What people don't necessarily pay for or pay a lot for is when we talk about, well, I'll create content, because it's a small problem. It's a problem, but it's a small problem. So when we get clear on what problems we solve and who we solve that problem for, that gives us the direction of where we need to move to actually go look at getting clients. So we'll skip into that stage, but I want to start with that because I think it's important, understanding the problem you solve and who you solve it for, and understanding that the size of the problem you solve will influence how much you can charge for your services or the work that you do. Now, let's talk about getting clients, right? So there's loads of different ways to get clients. And my favorite, what's been most profitable for me over the years has been partnerships, building partnerships with people that have my clients. So we did really good. I did hundreds of thousands from one particular client, not just through the relationship we had with them, in the sense of what they paid us. They was paying us at the time, I think about 60 grand for the year. And because of the work we did for them, we naturally attracted and helped their clients because their clients needed help with the same problem. So off the back of that client, we had a referral partnership where, we added probably like 10 clients from that business overall. And I would say on average client spend was £6,000 to £8,000. So yeah, that client was worth a lot of money. And just from doing a job really well with that one client, we're able to tap into more clients. So this leaves us with a simple strategy. Who are your current clients? And do any of your current clients have your clients? Does any of your clients actually work with people that you could help? And if they do, how can you set up a referral partnership? How could you set up some kind of incentive for them to send you clients or introduce you to clients? So the way we did it is we would give a commission, we would give a kickback. So anything from 10 to 20% or 5 to 20%, depending on the size of the deal, is what we would give the client back, right? You could do that in multiple ways. You could do it as a cash incentive. You could do it as a gift incentive. You could do it as a discount. So when they refer a client, maybe you add in a discount to the service that you're doing for them. So that's one way. Referral partnership deals, great way to get clients into your business fast, because generally speaking, if you've got trust with one client and they have clients of yours, there's borrowed authority, there's borrowed trust there, because their customers trust them. And if they trust them, then they're likely to trust you. Now, the next thing, outreach. I've made hundreds of thousands through outreach. Personally, still hate it. In the sense of it's not something that excites me, and I don't think it's something that really excites anyone. But depending on what your financial situation is like and whether you have the ability to invest in advertising or paying someone else to do it for you, then outreach is still a very good method to connect with people. Now, I actually like to take a hybrid approach with outreach. So what that looks like is running paid ads to content, right? So I'll talk through the lens of Instagram because it's generally where I'll do this. We run paid ads to targeted content, which is, giving value, giving insights, case studies, generally sharing value around a specific problem, a specific industry. From those people that engage on that content, from those people that follow that content, start conversations with them, right? Because when you get clients coming to you from an ad, there's a different level of positioning, right? They've already basically said, oh, I like what this person's about. I like what they're talking about. They've already expressed some kind of interest or something about you interested them enough to want to follow you. So when we start a conversation in the DMs, right? It's not necessarily cold outreach. I would say it's warm outreach. And generally conversations are a lot more receptive. And generally speaking, I'll give you a little rough framework on how I would navigate the DMs. My first question might be like, hey, thanks for following, or it might be, hey, thanks for following. Curious, are you looking for help with X, or are you just here for the content, right? It might be something more direct, which could be like, hey, appreciate the follow, saw that you are a XYZ, saw that you're a coach, saw that you're a fitness coach, saw that you're an aesthetics business, saw that you're a business owner. Curious, are you working with anyone on blah, blah, blah right now? Blah, blah, blah would be your service. So as an example, say a fitness coach follows you, you do video for fitness coaches. Hey man, appreciate the follow. Just checked out your account, love what you're doing, saw that you're a fitness coach. Curious, are you working with anyone on video right now? Or are you working with anyone on video marketing right now? And from there, we can kind of start a question. And really what we're looking for when we're doing outreach and we're having conversations is we're just trying to build rapport, right? We're building know, like, and trust. We're building a relationship. But at the same time, we're trying to illuminate awareness to, do they have a problem? Do they have a desire, right? So problem being, do they have a problem that you solve? Desire being, do they have a desire and drive to solve that problem now? And through a chain, through a DM conversation, a back and forth, we can find that out. We can find that out by asking questions like, how's business going? What are you working towards this year? How long you been creating content for? You might, generally speaking, I would create questions that are specific to the service you're offering naturally. So for me, if I'm talking with someone about branding, I might bring that up. I might talk about, if I was talking about video, I would comment on the video in the sense of, give some feedback around what they're doing, ask them if they're working with anyone, ask them how long they've been doing that for, ask them if they've got capacity to take on more clients. So I'm kind of like skipping a step. I'm kind of moving into the solution of what video could do for them. And from there, I'll move to a call, right? From there, I'll, have a back and forth and just might say something like, well, look, not sure if this would interest you or not, but I've got 15 minutes free in my diary tomorrow. Would you be free, or would you be down to jump on a call and chat and, see if there's some ways that we could potentially work together or help you? That's a very relaxed way of doing things, and it doesn't always flow like that. Some people are going to ignore you, some people are not going to reply, or some people are going to not reply immediately, in which case I like to follow up, but I like to follow up in a way that I would like to be followed up, right? I don't like to be followed up with lots of question marks or someone that comes across very beggy. So I'll just shoot back a question and be like, hey man, not sure if you saw that, not sure if you saw the previous message. Or hey man, still down to have a chat, something pretty chill, right? And if I don't get a response from there, I will engage on some of their content, right? Visibility, and just kind of leave it open. And I'll leave it open until I want to go add more value into that relationship. So another way to add more value into a relationship is to follow up with some kind of free resource. So if someone's not replied, rather than being beggy and asking them more questions and be like, hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see this? Question mark, which I hate that. Some people set like that, but a lot of people set like that in the marketing world. I personally hate it. So what I would do is I would follow up with a free resource, something like something niche specific, something problem specific to what I'm doing. And it, maybe something like, hey, just created this new training on how to achieve XYZ. Wondering if you'd like me to send across free access. And I might add into that at the start. I might be like, hey man, not spoke for a while. Hope everything's going great. Just created this free training covering XYZ. I was wondering if you might want me to send you free access, or curious, would you want me to send you access to this? Kind of get the gist. I'm kind of winging that, but the general framework of following up and adding value is a really good way to engage and re-engage and move conversations forward. So that's a kind of little mind dump on outreach. The next thing I want to talk about is ads, because I do think ads are really important for building a brand and building your audience, or I think they're an effective way to build a targeted audience, because you can play the content game and you can play the game of virality and looking at how you're going to amass hundreds of thousands of followers. I've worked with big influencers in the past where, they've got audiences in the millions, and because they've built their audience through viral content, they'll find that a lot of their audience are just not buyers, right? There's a small segment of people that are actually buyers, where I actually think if we're selling an expensive service, that we need to be more specific with how we build our audience, because unless we're trying to sell low ticket products to the masses, then having a huge audience of a big random bunch of people from different parts of the world, especially if we're talking like, third world countries where they're never going to have the budget to invest in your services or never have the ability to even buy from you, it makes more sense to be targeted. So targeted ads into a niche, generally through short form content, um, where we're looking to be specific. We're looking to attract the right kind of customers in through specific hooks. So hooks would have that market in them. So for example, if you're an aesthetics business who's looking to crush it with content in 2025, here are my top 3 strategies to fill your clinic with clients. Or if you're an online fitness coach who's looking to scale to 6 figures in 2025, download my cheat sheet covering how you can create content that attracts your ideal customers. Step number 3, everybody misses. So some curiosity-based hooks that are speaking to a clear audience around a clear problem, using that to drive traffic to your Instagram and further video content. So we can create a scroll, a binge effect where people come in and they consume content, 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 content. And if we use that with a method of either retargeting to put our offer in front of them with retargeting, which basically means that for everyone that's watched a certain time of video, like 50% of a video, or of certain people that visited the account, will now show them another ad, which is maybe to book a call, right? It's pushing or promoting your offer. But what I'll generally do, and a low budget way of doing this, is to run top of funnel ads, so run short, engaging ads, and then the people that come and follow your account and engage, start a conversation with them. Beyond that, if we're looking to add cash and we're looking to add cash quick, other ways to make money is to look at current customers. And I actually more than doubled the business revenue when I changed this in one of my first businesses, because we went from a core offer, which worked out to about £100 a month, to a core offer that was over £1,000. And we initially started selling that to current customers, because that more expensive offer was it wasn't just more expensive, there was more contact time, it was a better service, right? They were getting more for the money and it was more results driven. And there's this rule where 20% of people will make up 80% of profits, right? I think it's Pareto's rule, which is the 80-20 rule, right? So just thinking about that, if you've got 100 customers or 10 customers, 2 customers are going to spend more than the other 8. So having, just looking at your current client base and looking at maybe some opportunities of like, where could you help them more? Like, could you develop or could you do something for them that's going to help them achieve their goals faster? And generally speaking, you are going to be able to come up with something for that. So that's another way to look at where can I add customers, where can I add cash flows, looking at current customer base and, looking at where you can plan some upsells, looking at where you could maybe, have a conversation with them to dive deep on their goals and actually make an offer against those goals, where you come in and probably do more work, probably get more hands-on with other areas of the business. And that's something that's always been a really good route for my businesses, but lots of the clients I've worked with have been able to go and add thousands of pounds just through, looking at the current customers and approaching it from a perspective of how can I help them get to their goals faster? Like, how can I help them get to their goals in a more effective, efficient way? Local marketing, right? Networking. So depending on where you're based, depending on what you do, there's going to be a catchment of areas where you can go and network and rub shoulders with those people. Maybe it's networking events, maybe it's golf, maybe it's a gym, maybe it's a meetup, business meetups, industry meetups, events. There's going to be areas and places you can go to actually network and meet people that you want to work with. I've done a fair amount of that. I've been in masterminds. I've traveled the world. I've put myself in rooms with people that I want to learn from, and through that process, I've met other people that became customers. So that's kind of my breakdown for today. If you're looking to add customers into your business, it's easier to start from a perspective of clarifying who you actually want to work with and what problem you solve. That's something we do a lot with every single client. It's part of the brand strategy process. But there's so many different methods and tactics to actually get customers. And hopefully from what I've just shared there, that's given you some goals, or it's given you some insights in what you can go take action on to start adding, another 5, 10, 15 clients into your business over the next 30, 60, 90 days. So if there was one thing I was going to leave on this, is don't just watch this video and be like, that was cool. take at least one thing from this video and action it, run with it, commit to it, and make it work.